Hey guys, welcome back to the Ask Muso podcast, brought to you by Yellow Music. I'm very luckily tools down. I'm in a fantastic studio and I'm tools down on the audio department today for this episode. I have my favourite soundie in a large radius. I'm not going to say 5Ks, I'm going to say a large radius. I have Paige next to me. Look, say g'day and tell us a little bit about yourself.
G'day, I'm Paige. I do live sound and production and all things audio. I think I've been in this industry for like 9 years now. I know I don't look a day over 21. But yeah, so I sort of started off doing the whole studying thing, got an internship, fell into the production company world, multiple companies working for, fell into the university audio world. That's, you know, why
sort of went full circle
here in this studio. Yep, of working in a studio. And yeah, I've just been picking up any job I kind of can, I guess. It's
Sweet. So is that like 9 years since people stopped asking you what your real job was? Or
no,
like...
people always ask what my real job is.
That never stops. Yeah, sorry, that never stops. That was, I was trying to impress you at home. That was a joke. They never stop asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does things sort of kick off? Were you like a player, or were you surrounded by bands and stuff and you were the most tech savvy one? Like, how did this sort of all kick off for you?
If we go way back to the very beginning, I found my interest in high school. So we were lucky enough with my high school that we offered vet subjects, which is like, you know, vet music, so certificate 1 and 2 in music production and music performance. And I was playing in bands and stuff like that in high school, and I kind of just realised I wasn't that good of a musician, to be honest. And my music teacher was like, well, there's more things that you can do other than just being a musician.
Sweet, yep.
And so I sort of had that spark from year 11, which is what made me want to study. And I still played in bands and stuff, but I just kind of knew that was never the path for me. For me, it's like, I don't know, maybe I just like having control. Like, you know.
This isn't therapy.
It started to feel like therapy.
Once again, like a good therapist asks one question and listens for the whole session. So,
look, you're a question too.
Yeah, exactly. So I've already failed. But no, so that's cool. So you found that there was another pathway. And it's actually nice that you had someone tell you that rather than go, oh, you can't do this one thing. There.
Yeah, and early on too, like I feel like I've always been one of those people who has to know where they're going in life and what they're doing. I can't just coast along being like...
Something might come up.
Yeah, I just couldn't do that. So I just needed some sort of direction. And honestly, I wasn't that good at school. Like, so music kind of, or creative industries, I should say, like, was the path. It was just how I was going to take it.
Okay, yeah.
You know? So yeah, I think we're very lucky to have teachers like that to actually recommend different pathways.
Yeah.
So
like when I was in year 12, I did, or when I was in year 11, I did the year 12 music course because I started it back in year 8, the year ahead with a cohort. When we got to the pointy end, I didn't want to bin it. I didn't want to like start again with different people. So I was also the only drummer in the sort of the class. So therefore they needed me there as much as I needed them. So I was like, I don't want to start again. And then when it came to year 12, I was like, well, I can't do music performance year 12 again. So what am I going to do? And it was actually that there was some alternative subjects in the VCE, in the Victorian Institute of Education bit, that actually had this music investigation course. And it was a solo thing. You could do it as a group, but it was designed to be a one-to-one thing. And essentially you built your own course. You essentially built a musical thesis.
yeah.
No one in the school had done it before because it was no one had asked or no one had gone ahead or et cetera, et cetera. So it meant that for me, I actually got someone said, oh, you've got a whole nother year. I know you don't want to not do music for a year. So I found this.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy how much and I then went on to study at a uni at the Australian College of the Arts. And from there, as much as I cut my bachelor short so we could move up here, it's already paid for itself. Not according to the government, but it has already paid for itself in how I've used it and the people I've learned from and like the things I do that are the basic rubrics of like what you teach is the reason that like all the episodes except for this one, I do all this and know how to do this and know how to troubleshoot it and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think it's not even just like you knowing how to do it, but any musician, if like I can't stress enough to musicians if they know how a microphone works or how basic signal flow is, like you just get so much more respect from the house soundie, from, you know, venue managers, from other bandmates, in every aspect. Like, if you kind of know a little bit of your shit, then yeah, it's so valuable. And I think as far as studying goes, which is a bit funny because I work at a university, I don't think the course is for, you know, audio and music and stuff is necessarily perfect for teaching you how to be a musician or how to be an audio engineer, but it's the networking and getting you into the industry. Like, it's basically a big giant networking degree.
Absolutely.
And if you use the tools right, like, you can actually have a career in it.
Yeah.
And it's,
I get that from when I did stuff. It was very much that way. It was very much, you met lots of people and some were interested really in just like, I want to know what that does and what this does. And the people it was just like when it was needed, I'd call upon you, where some people were there just social, but like just for that social aspect of, I don't really know how all this works, but I just want to get in a room with you because I love that you play that instrument that I'm missing. Can we just get in a room? How do we book that? You know, and everyone was like chomping at the bit to do that from the start. Yeah. And that from there, like being able to figure out things. I shot a video myself recently where I was talking about that whole idea of being able to troubleshoot is a way to impress and build that respect and that rapport with the sounding and stuff like that. Because really you are facilitating the connection between the venue's gear and your gear. That's if you can help that along, you get so many wins. But also it builds your stage confidence to know that, fuck, that broke. And it's not a problem. Yeah. It's not a problem that broke, or I didn't bring this, or I'm missing that thing, because I know how to fix it. I have a plan B, all those different things.
100%. Yeah. And like, even the basic things of knowing what a DI is, you know, if I go to a musician, you know, can you just plug your acoustic into that DI in front of you? If they don't know what a DI is and they're like, you know, I try not to be judgy, obviously, but you still can't help to be like, oh, okay, here we go, you know, like, it's... Yeah,
there's a certain, I think the biggest thing is like having done training, like I suppose it's a form of training, as well as like doing stuff in the fire brigade with training, and it's like, there has to be a basic foundational knowledge.
Yeah.
And by doing certain trainings and having things, or having, you know, a diploma in something or a bachelor in something, we have a foundational understanding.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like one of the biggest industries, and I think you would see this more, the biggest industries that have that disparity of foundational understanding is ours.
100%.
Because you don't have to be good at anything to be good at music. Like, that. Oh my God, like, that just blew everything up. But like, you got to be like, you can just be a killer songwriter, a killer guitarist, and then be just that.
You can also be shit at everything. And if you've just got the confidence and the attitude to be on stage, for some people, that's enough.
Yeah.
But I think the whole weaponizing competence of being on stage and going, oh, I don't know how to do any of this, can you do it for me? I think that is becoming an old school practice. I think, we're trying to, like, and I'm seeing it more and more.
Okay.
People actually understanding how equipment works. Like, maybe it's got something to do with, you know, these university and school courses popping up way more too. That
more accessible.
More people are studying that. Yeah, I am finding slowly that there are more than less people who are understanding, but...
Okay, and they're at least open to that conversation.
Exactly, yep. Or I've gone, oh yeah, I did a vet subject, or what's it called up here? A TAFE subject.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Sorry, for context, like, I am Victorian, but I have been in Queensland for like 9 years, so...
Yeah, well, so yeah, you actually...
I'm still in my brain, I'm still Victorian.
Okay, so I forget, it's only been... I thought it was longer. I actually thought it was longer, so...
I've actually probably been up here for 10 years. 10 years.
Yeah, because I've only been here for... This is my 5th year when this came out, so... And it feels like it was ages ago.
I still think in you know, ATARs and VCE and stuff like that. Well, as we're in Queensland.
Yes, as I was doing it and saying that, I was like, think about who's in the front. But I'm looking at you and you're like, VCE, mate, don't explain the acronym. I know what you're going to say. I know what it's called.
I know. And even you mentioned like where you studied.
Yeah.
Straight away, I know that that's a Victorian college.
Yes.
And I was like, oh yeah, no, I know where we are. Like, It's like, no, we're in Queensland.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, what are your thoughts on like were you doing any like live tech or anything like that down there?
No, not at all.
No, okay, that's
no.
right.
I mean, other than through high school. So other than my certificate 1 and 2 in
Sure. Okay. Yep.
in production that was in year 11 and 12 that I did them in. Other than that, no, I didn't do anything. I pretty much did some bits and pieces at school, which was
but not in the
learn
wild.
how to use an analog console and learn how to do this and all that sort of stuff. But I pretty much finished I pretty much finished high school, moved straight up to Queensland and then studied straight away. So that's like pretty much my whole audio life has started in Queensland.
Yeah. So as part of that, I want to talk about Rum Jungle. You was touring with them and doing awesome stuff all around the place. How did you meet those guys, and how did that sort of kick off for you?
So, I work at Soul Bar as one of the in-house techs there.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd come through twice over like a 6-month course. The second time that they came along, we had a bit of a reflection not that long ago of like why
am I here?
Why they liked me, why I'm here. And they were like, oh, you just sort of said it. You said it how it was. You asked, we asked you a few questions and you were to the point, and we really appreciated the honesty.
Absolutely.
And that was obviously enough for them to go, oh, okay, we like her.
She's a straight shooter.
Yeah, which is funny because I don't see myself as a straight shooter and a direct to the point person, but obviously I was enough for them to go, okay, cool, she's not going to,
it's not going to be.
Soften
she's not
anything.
Yeah, she's not some mysterious enigma that we're going to find out halfway through. Fuck, she's loose, or she's wild, or okay.
Yeah, I was pretty much a open book for them, and so let them know a few things that I thought about their performance and things that they could work on and things that I really loved, and like obviously nothing bad because they're friggin' great and they've been doing this forever.
But did that come from like a? Was it 100% they asked?
Yes, they asked. I would never just be like, maybe this should change. Like, I would never.
I don't think I'm a straight shooter, but like, I often give unsolicited feedback. Oh my God, does that make me a straight shooter? I've completely misunderstood. Yes, I'm one of those then. Yes, I am one of those. Yeah, no, not like that.
I am not. Unless somebody asks. So, and they did ask, and I was like, okay, well, this is my opinion, and they were like, okay, good. That was the clarification we needed.
Sweet.
And so, that was enough for them to go, oh, yeah, we like her and let's get her on board. And so one day their manager hit me up, asked if I wanted to do a few shows for them, and just the ball's been rolling since then. So got a few big things planned in the future, which is exciting.
Yeah, awesome.
They've gained so much momentum. Like, I'm so proud of them. And I'm so proud of them for like just bringing me along and being a part of the family. Like,
you get to be part of it.
It's like I'm in a band, but I don't have to do anything other than my job.
Exactly. This is like a really good deal for you. So I'm a straight shooter. I give unsolicited feedback,
and I don't do anything.
I do fuck all. Like,
everyone should be soundies. Like, it's so easy.
Okay, so that is so clip it. Yeah. Yep. So I was gonna finish with this, but I won't finish with it now. You sort of got into this because you had a guidance for which is pretty rare. Yep. And for anyone that's sort of coming up in that like school or whatever, and they aren't maybe necessarily the best musician, like, what do you reckon like advice would be to someone who's maybe looking at this pathway? Like, I know you can only sort of speak on what you've done, and also I've studied too, but what would you sort of recommendation be?
So, well, at least with what I've done, I would suggest, or I'd advise people that if they are interested in going down this sort of pathway that I've been down, is, network as much as you can, which I know everybody says that, and it's like, network, but by that I mean like go to pubs, go to bars, go to play anywhere that there's music playing.
Just be about.
Yeah. And especially in smaller towns, like, the people at the venue notice, right? Like, They so notice that same person keeps coming around. Oh, and all of a sudden that person's coming up and approaching me and interested in sound and interested in what I'm doing, so they notice that. And so the more venues you can go to, talk to the soundies, talk to venue managers, just ask to shadow them. So, just see what they do throughout the whole day. Like, expect to do a lot of free hours, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say free labor, but like honestly, like I did like 200 hours of free work under an internship. And
Of course, yeah.
that's what actually made the company I was doing that for see that I was interested in working and dedicated and willing to work for free, which is, you know, obviously it's leading to something else.
Of course. It's not a punch in, punch out. So there has to be a certain amount of intent shown to display that you're keen, especially like because it can be a bit of a flaky thing. And I think there's definitely a lot of misconception about what it is. And I think part of that comes from people that, like, I know people that I've experienced from a performance point of view that do make you feel like, fuck, are you even signed on, mate? Like, are you even
100%?
Are you even here? Like, everything's a chore, everything like that. As someone that is not like that at all, do you find that some people come at it a bit like, oh, okay, she's probably gonna hate what I'm going to say, or she's probably gonna do like. Do you find that a little bit?
Yeah.
Like, I was a bit apprehensive, just not for any other reason than just it was someone new when you did tech for Sailing Space, whatever, for the first time, and I was like, oh, someone new, and I get that.
You have your reservations.
Yeah, I get the nerves, like, oh.
It's because it's
do I
someone
have to
new,
run in
though.
ears? Yes, we're doing tracks. And I personally, and this could just be a way I'm wired, I'm thinking of all the ways I can make my setup more simple now.
Yep.
So that I don't upset you or annoy you just because of my personal experience.
Yeah. And definitely, and that's the thing is, like, you never know who you're going to come across in a venue, like, but I suppose, like, sure, you can try and make it more simple, but there should also be that certain level of trust that the soundie, you know, does know what they know.
And wants to be there.
And wants to be there 100%. Like, and unfortunately there are people out there who, man, they act like their job sucks and they don't want to be there and it's the worst thing on the world. Like, they get to listen to music and make it sound good if they're good.
Yeah, but like, yeah,
you
like,
know, it's like they...
Yeah, the control thing can be both a liberation or a pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And...
oh, yeah.
the way your eyes widened then.
Sometimes...
Oh, my God, that was terrifying.
Sometimes, like, you'll be mixing a band and you're just having a shit day and you're like, man, why am I so shit at my job? Like, what is going on? Like... why is nothing sitting right? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I don't mean this to offend any bands or anything. Most of the time it's because of the bands, though.
Yes, yeah. There is a certain... But that takes us back to what we started with. You need to understand, like, the three things I talked about in troubleshooting in the video were know your stuff better than anyone else.
Yep.
Have everything plus one. Have enough stuff. Have the spare batteries. Have extra thing for that, you know. And then the third thing is be able to be well rehearsed enough that you can do stuff on the fly. You know, like the amount of times I've fixed a floor tom for myself or for someone.
Just be able to adapt.
Yeah, drumstick falls and I've got a spare. Like, even that small stuff. Like,
I've noticed a lot, just in general life, this statement goes is like, there's so many people out there who don't know how to troubleshoot. They don't have the ability to go, oh, this isn't working. Like, how do I fix it?
Sweet.
They just go, oh, it isn't working. Tell someone. Like,
yes.
You know, instead of... Which obviously there's different scenarios where you don't touch other people's shit. But
of course, yeah.
But if you've got some drum hardware that's not working for whatever reason, you know, I don't know, go get the gaff, especially if it's yours. Like,
exactly.
You know, go do whatever you can to make the show go on.
I've put a 7A drumstick in a floor tom leg when a floor tom's leg. I want a riser and the end one come out fallen off. Like, I'm not going to go get that. At the time I was playing a wired belt pack. I was like, well, I'm stuck here. I'm not going anywhere.
You're tethered.
So I was like, well, I'm physically tethered here. So that one's gone now. So I need to come up with something else. So I put a 7A drumstick on the side.
Yep.
Because I didn't have any mates that either saw it or were in the vicinity to be able to assist in a way that they sort of knew how. So I was like, well, what do I do? Sorry, guys. Sorry, we're going to have to stop this. We're just going to have to pause for 2 seconds.
People do that, though.
They do, yeah.
And it's so... Like, when I'm standing there at front of house and someone does that,
jarring.
I just like...
You're just like, I want to become into the console. I would like to merge with the console.
It's just like, just let me, like, melt, like...
Yes.
Yeah,
Can I turn more of the lights off from black?
Yeah, full blackout.
Yeah, exactly.
That didn't happen, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, technical difficulties.
I think it's the worst thing that someone can do is, like, stop a show. Unless there's something that, like, is catastrophic.
Of course, yeah.
But, like... Yeah, if it's something stupid like that, man, it's rock and roll, baby.
Just-
like, make it happen. Like, just let the show happen.
Yeah.
Adapt. Like,
Absolutely.
But
That's half,
so many.
That's
I've
half the
seen
fun.
some people crumble where they're just like, well, it's not exactly how I want, and therefore I can't keep going.
Yeah.
It's like,
Absolutely. And like,
That's life.
I think about that also because I remember we talked about this before. We talked about drum tech and me sort of giving a rundown on that because you wanted to have more of an idea about that.
yes.
One of the things that you mentioned that I then echoed later on in this video was about the idea of guitarists being more gearhead inclined
Yep.
as opposed to drummers
Yep.
and just other people. A lot of people are a bit plug and play or...
At least that's what I've found. 100%.
Yeah, and like they either... Perhaps the guitarists know a lot about their setup based on the fact that they really plug away on it in their room and then they're like, oh... It doesn't sound like that now, and then perhaps that leads onto what they say to you. But there definitely tends to be a bit more of a just a general understanding of their own stuff,
Yep.
which is better for you. But do you find that maybe is changing as well, or
I don't know yet. You know, like
'cause, yeah, I feel like no, like for drummers and stuff like that, I still feel like no.
I feel like there's a lot of amazing drummers out there, and the good ones you come across, it's like, oh man, you know exactly what's going on. You know how this works. Like, cool, you do you, man. And then there's some drummers that are like, I'm just here to drum. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know anything. I don't know how to. I've asked them if they can tune, you know, a rack tom real quick because I know that it doesn't sound right, and they go, oh, I don't really know how to tune drums.
yeah,
But, like, a guitarist knows how to tune a guitar, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And a guitarist knows the amp that they pick. Like, I shouldn't stereotype so much because not every guitarist does, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's a broader spectrum of guitarists who they know their own gear. They know what tone they can get out of the amp that they're using and the guitar they're using. Whereas I feel like there's so many drummers that are still... just like, I just hit the drums and it
it's
just
like,
sounds
I don't
like a
normally
drum
sit
kit.
this low.
Yeah.
But this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, we
And-
just bash the drums and hope it sounds good.
Yeah,
like-
and like, when it comes to like the stigmatization of things, I feel that I have to try and like walk this fine line between explaining that I know everything about my stuff
Yep.
without coming across that I never know it all,
Yep.
but also like take me seriously because I'm going to take you seriously.
Yep.
But also you don't need to keep tabs with me. I've got it on lock. I'll make it
Yeah.
work. And if you've got any questions, and not in a patronizing way, if you have any questions, like can you tune that thing?
Yeah.
Say g'day.
But
Sing
then
out.
there's that fine line of if that's not delivered right, you sound like an asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
don't
not
worry.
you.
Don't,
You
don't
don't
worry,
sound like an
Bubs.
asshole.
I've got it. You know, it's like,
yeah,
oh,
exactly.
fuck, okay then, big star.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's like, I don't know if you know this, but I've been drumming for 25 years. It's like, yeah, I don't care. Like,
it's like,
if you're still
you'll
shit,
have to
you're
run me.
still
You'll have to
shit.
run me through when I ask.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
it's that sort of stuff that's like, if you can deliver it well, we can have a mutual respect for each other and work
Yes.
together really well. Because, like,
It's
honestly,
a relationship. It's a very unique relationship.
Totally. And, like, as much as I want to know everything, like, I don't know shit. Like,
Yeah.
I know my little world, like, to do with audio.
Yep.
And I am trying to learn how to be just better with more like drum etiquette, drum technique, drum troubleshooting.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I want to be a drum tech because it feels
Like it has weight.
it has
yeah, it
weight,
has a different weight. Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I want to be able to do drum techie things
Yep.
to be helpful more so than guitar techie things because, like we said, like guitarists kind of typically speaking do know more about their instruments.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I don't know everything, it is handy when a drummer or when any musician is like, don't worry, I got this. Like, yeah, we can work together.
Like,
and,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
and it's like, oh, okay, we're both on the same team here. Like, let's have a good show. Like, this is
Yeah,
gonna be
it's like,
sick.
oh, sweet. Okay. Just,
Yeah.
if anything is a problem, you just sing out.
Yeah. Whereas, yeah, sometimes you get people who, don't get me wrong, like they could be a great musician, but if they're telling me how great of a musician they are,
They've just come at you like that.
yeah,
You're
and they're
"Ah."
like almost a bit aggressive, and they might not be feeling comfortable because they haven't met me before. You know, maybe one of the other house soundies has mixed them previously, and I'm just a new face. They might be a bit standoffish.
Yeah.
But yeah, the moment someone comes across a little bit more abrasive like that, it's like, whoa, okay, I'm not going to want to be your friend. Like, I'm just going to try and get the job done.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch that.
Yeah, you've sort of made it clear what this is now.
Yeah, exactly. But the gigs where we are all working together doesn't feel like work.
No, it doesn't.
That's where it feels like I do nothing.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like.
Jungle, it
yeah,
feels like
you're part of the band for the night.
We're just having fun. Like,
exactly.
Once we got through sound check and shows happening, we're like, okay,
we're
this
cooking.
is sweet. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like I actually found that when we were in the States, it traverses continents. You still have something like that. So like when we opened for Saliva and Drowning Pool, we were a last minute addition to open the show. There was already 3 drum kits on stage, massive stage in this old like cafeteria school thing in Ringgold, Wisconsin, and they said, "You're welcome to play. Like, we'd love you to be there to open up as like a last minute edition. The show's already sold out, so no one's expecting you to be there. You just rock up and everyone's like, what's this?" And that's exactly what we did. But we rigged a drum kit with a full sound check and pulled it off after a gentleman's like 25 minutes. No one batted an eyelid. It was rock and roll. Oh, you Aussies are great. Love it. It was sick. Played a set, took everything off straight away. It was awesome. Show was great. And then a couple of nights previous, we'd had a much smaller show in a sized space, maybe like sort of like the precinct, but different levels and lots of different sort of undulations with like a big sidebar. And I run my X5 U4 and I've had no issues in any venue in any country with it, but it's 2.4 and his entire sound system was a 2.4 system.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. And he just comes in straight with, "Your thing will fuck my machine."
Yep.
And I was like, okay. Whoa, okay, sweet. I was like, is it okay?
Like you could have just punched me in the face and I would have had the same reaction.
Didn't you hear, mate? I've got a funny accent. Like, is that not carrying any weight in this venue?
Yeah.
And so I don't run tracks. Like, I just like to, want to be able to hear Erin when I get home in the future. Like, those sorts of things. I don't have to run tracks or anything. I just like to be able to hear in the future. So I like to run my ears and I like to be comfortable in that. And also I sing, so I want to make sure that I'm locked in on that front. And I was like, "Can I test it?" And he begrudgingly said yes. And for whatever reason, it was a bit of a no show, no tell.
Yep.
It doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work. What you've done doesn't. It's just screw with my thing now. But he was sort of like, "I told you to screw with it."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, did you win something? Did you win a prize because you proved me wrong?" And I was like,
and I feel like
it really made me anxious before the thing. I was like,
yeah.
Okay. We were only like 3 nights into
tour. That could have
tour.
just been delivered in such a different way that, if that's the case, that you couldn't use that system, sure, that's fine. But yeah, you still need to communicate with each other like human beings.
Yeah.
Rather than be like, this ain't gonna work. Like,
yeah, and I was
like, okay, but I've used it in every other show, so
yeah,
why can't I?
Well, the thing is, I said that, I was like, obviously not from Australia, but I won't go there. I'm not going to play that. I've used this in Australia, mate. It works fine. But then when if I've ever got lip down here since, just passing and things, what's that little fucking shit bit? What's that thing? I'll be like, it works in multiple countries. It's fine. I think it'll manage the load we need.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have noticed though with some of those actually, the last couple of shows I've done, in bigger venues, now that everyone has got 5G phones.
It doesn't like it.
It kind of fucks with them a little bit, with some of them, yeah.
Just because there's too much distance?
It's like you can get like digital interference happening with like big crowds. So I think some of those things may start to phase out, or people will need to upgrade eventually.
Interesting.
Because, there is starting to become more digital interference with those ones, like...
okay, that's interesting because I've had that a couple of times, but I didn't think of it like that.
But if that guy at that venue didn't explain it like that, then was that the issue that he had, or was he just being a jerk?
And also, literally, I had every gig I've ever played with it versus this one guy as my prior experience. So I'm like,
you're just like, fuck you,
this
man.
This has fallen into the you problem side.
Yeah.
But like, no, that's interesting that you mentioned that, and I hadn't thought of that. Like when we played in Ringgold, I think by the time like our set was, maybe 3/4 done, we had maybe probably about 450 people in there. Not a problem.
Yep.
Not a problem at all. And the distance would have been, probably where the outdoor eating part of Soul Bar is.
Yeah,
to the front of the stage. That would have been the distance. And then, with 400 people, and obviously that was only in September last year. So we had the new phones and such.
Yep.
So I think it's just about, but then it goes to the troubleshooting thing.
Yep.
For instance, if we're doing something with we're selling in space, whatever, and I'm running tracks, or if I'm running tracks with someone, I have a plan B. So if I can't get a connection, then I'll just run it natively, and I'll literally run it like it's a headphone jack.
Yeah.
And I'll just omit being able to hear everything else, as long as I can hear the track and the clicks. I have that plan B because, well, if it's with Dell and Justice Tree and all that, I can just go without, as long as I can hear myself and,
but if
I've
you've got
a bit
click,
of ear
it's like
protection.
you need that click.
Yeah, this is non-negotiable.
Yeah,
but if you can't make it work or something, I have a plan. I have my plan B.
I actually think as well, though, I would say most drummers I've met, I would recommend that they use in-ears, to be honest. Like, whether they're rock, punk, pop, I don't care.
Not singing.
I just think, like, a lot of them, if not all of them, would benefit from having in-ear monitors. Half the time they're so deaf that they can't hear what I'm pushing through the monitors anyway. But it's like, whether they're running tracks or not, like,
that's a big
tell
thing.
almost everyone, every like new band coming through, if they're struggling to look down the monitors, in-ear monitors path, because they're so affordable these days.
They actually are.
Like, you know, and even like they can deal with wired ones. Like, they don't need wireless. They're not going anywhere.
I had a Behringer P2 for as long as I wanted one, until I just kept getting caught on stuff, and I just didn't want to anymore.
Yeah, totally.
And then there was opportunities to maybe come up the front a couple of times, and that was just not possible.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I'm going to have to come up to the front and perhaps there's a guitar involved or something, this is not my first instrument. The last thing I want to do is be riffing it off a fallback wedge. I definitely need to make sure.
Especially when you take your ears out for the first time and everything's just so loud. You're just like,
Yeah, I don't need drums in my wedge, coach. It's like, it's just behind you.
Yeah.
Really? It's always that loud? And that's the thing. I've gotten used to that, and like, unashamedly, like, I don't want to not get used to that, because just
no way. And neither should you. Like,
to be able to hear and stuff, and I think that's super important. Like, you're putting together a show for the audience, which has some loudness and volume things to consider. But for us, if I can keep the show as quiet on stage and as locked in for me,
it's like whatever makes you comfortable to make the best show possible for the people who have paid to be there.
Exactly.
Like, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Because the quality of the show they remember comes from the performance and what you do.
Yeah.
What I hear in the wedge, or what's coming through my ears, if I just get click and kick drum, that doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
But if it means that I'm loving it, then...
Totally. And it's like, I don't give a shit how you want to do something, so long as it's in the means of what I can achieve for you.
And it's sonically smart.
It's like, whatever you need, like, that I can provide for you, like, let's do it, because it means everyone has a good time. Like, I'm not going to fight anyone. Like,
it's not about
I'll give you whatever you want. Like,
I would not do that, and I don't do that, and that's difficult.
I think you're
there for the wrong reasons.
So many bands have come through venues and stuff that I've worked at and have been like, oh, you know, like, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do that? Like, oh, I might just do this if that's okay. And it's like, honestly, like, this stage is now yours. Like, I just want you to be happy and comfortable. Like, I'll roll with the punches. Like, it's like, to me, like, and most of the time, it's like, to me, they're more of a professional than me. Like, I don't know if it's just how I see myself, I suppose, but it's like, you know exactly what you're doing. This is your show. You've done 100 of these shows. I've only done one show for you. So,
and that's
you
the thing.
Tell me how to do it, and I can make that happen for you. Like, I work for you to a certain extent, if they're still respectful.
Of course. But it's interesting that you think that. People,
I don't know if everyone thinks like that.
Well, I think people who think like that feel the same regardless of which side of the stage they're on. Because I feel the exact same way. I go, look, this is, whether it's part-time, once a week, every weekend, this is your house. And I want to know where to sit. I want to know where that we're going to eat. I want to know all those things. I got the cooking sorted. That's not a problem. I got the ingredients. I got all that stuff. But you just tell me, where are the pots and pans? Where are all the bits that I need to get in order to facilitate the meal? And whereas you're more like, look, please, you're the chefs. You know way more about food than me. That's where the rolling pin is, and that's where the chopping boards are. So it's a different dynamic. I think it's more of a person thing. I think a person,
I think so.
a person that has
confidence,
that, absolutely,
confidence thing as well. I'm not saying I'm not confident, but like, I feel like in a way it goes two ways with my brain, right? Where it's like the first way is like, I'm not confident, so whatever you need, I can make that happen for you because I want you to have the best show, and I am nobody. The other side of that is I want to do anything I can to make this show work for you, and if that means challenging myself to do something I haven't done before, sweet.
Bully for me, yeah.
Yeah, like it means I get better, and I love seeing how other people work as well, because to me, that's a free learning resource.
Absolutely.
You know, like if you do something different that I haven't done before, it's like, oh, cool, I get to learn something again for free. Like, sweet, thank you for that information. Like,
also,
whether I actually can take that on board or not. But...
That's the thing. Like, there comes to a point where it's like the attitude maybe there, even if it's like, oh shit, I've never done this before. But it's like when I think about like a probationary meeting after you've started a job, everyone presumes that it's like, can I stay?
Yeah.
But it's like, are you happy here?
Yeah.
It's like a sound check is for you and for me.
Yep, exactly.
It's like for now it's more of a conversation of just us getting to the end result that we know we can get to together because of past experience. But for two greenies that have never met each other before, it's the sound check is just as much for you as it is for me.
100%.
Because I know my bit, you know your bit, and obviously you would know how to facilitate the venue's equipment. But what do you need?
Yeah.
And like that stage plot thing, that's always a bit of a laugh.
I never look at them.
That's insane. Often though, you'll be like, I think Tony sent that through. Look, we haven't done that one since 1923. Sorry, that's our 70s style one. 3 of the members aren't in the band anymore. And you're like,
yeah.
Sweet, so that's probably a waste of an email then.
Yeah. Honestly, the amount of times that, like, students who are here, like, I would always encourage them to learn how to do tech specs and learn how to do their stage plots and all that sort of stuff. But, like, in a real sense, I don't fucking read them. Like, like I don't, like, even if I'm at a festival, like, I'll quickly look at the tech specs or I'll look at the stage plot and I'm reading it and it's like, okay, I'm just going to triple check that this is right because I don't know if this is right. And sure enough, like you said, it's like, oh yeah, that's like 70 years old. Like,
yeah,
you know, and so you end up having that conversation with the band or the management anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of, especially for the smaller gigs, probably not so much for the festivals as much. For the smaller gigs, it's like, I don't even bother looking at the tech specs. I might even go on their Instagram and see what they're all about. And then go, cool, I got the general idea.
Let's
go have a conversation with the band. Like,
exactly. Just like the numbers and
much
basic
prefer to
instrumentation.
Be like, hi, what do you do? What do you need? Where is everybody?
This is
and then
me.
You've already like made the conversation. Like,
yeah.
But I really like talking to people, like, and I really like being everyone's friend.
And
so it's like, I need to have something to talk about. Let's talk about what you do.
Absolutely. Like but that's so true though. It's
like icebreakers.
Rather than just letting you know, you're gonna need to plug in soon. That's not really an icebreaker. That's just sorry. And then we're sort of on the back foot. Whereas when you have something like now, there's 3 of you. Is it just going to be 3 of you today, or is there more? Am I waiting on more people?
I have a question for you. So,
oh gosh, this is 2 plugs in a row. Someone's asking me a question. This is unbelievable. Please,
I know whose podcast is this now?
Excellent.
When you go to other venues, is it more? Let's have the conversation of what do you do, or is it more just silent and they just plug everything in for you? And like,
that's
is
person
there more,
based.
Is it
100% person based?
Yeah.
It's 100% based on who's there. I've had some like plug and play where it's literally.
It's like, you've read my specs. Cool, thanks.
Yeah,
like...
pretty much. Yeah, like probably could count that on one hand.
Yep.
Or probably could count that on one hand if I didn't include thumbs as fingers.
Yep.
But when it happens, it's crazy. But it's more that, for instance, when we played at Ringle, because it was a last minute thing, they had read it.
Yep.
I sent it through like via text,
perfect.
via WhatsApp or something, like 2 hours before, because it was a last minute show.
Yeah.
And he's like, sweet, so which side is the second guitar going to be on?
Yeah, cool.
Are you doing the keys tonight, or are we just not doing keys? I was like,
sweet.
No, we're not doing the keys tonight
like,
because it's only...
somebody has read
I don't know, whatever. Do you guys do you want to have a drink after? Yeah. And so that's definitely part of it, but I think the other thing is... you get some that are a bit more like, I just want to plug it in and get over and done with. And it definitely feels like, I don't really want to ask you. I feel really nervous.
Well, even I've felt that going to other venues and working with other soundies, like when okay, it's different. I need to think in my brain how I word this. Don't piss anybody off. But
So Bailey Walker
the
edits this,
people
he'll
I've
cut that
worked
out.
with, yeah, great. The people I've worked with for production companies, we work in as a team. Great, you already know them. You know what's going on.
Yep.
But I've been to some venues where, you know, you go there and they're not the friendliest of house engineers.
Sure.
You know, and straight away I feel like I'm not welcome and like I'm the inconvenience that I'm here.
Yep, it's feeling like an inconvenience. That's what I
Bitch,
felt.
I'm mixing a band for you. You don't have to do anything. You just stand here and watch. I'm doing your job.
Yeah.
In your venue.
Yeah, and I know that we've discussed that off air, and I know exactly what you're referring to. So I absolutely get that. Part of that for me, as the other side, is that I feel that sometimes I get, because I'm like anally confident when it comes to organization. Like I as much as you might not read it or whatever, I still want to send it.
Yep.
Like, you know, when I play at the Precinct, I just send Julian a text to be like, I'm bringing my drum kit tomorrow night. And he's like, yeah, rock and roll. For you, I just tell you which band I'm playing in and we're grooving.
Yeah.
But for anything that's new, I do really want to send it because I'm organized like that and I want to have my ducks in a row.
I think that's the thing is, I think if you send it, perfect. Like, whether I read it or not, that's up to me.
Mm-hmm.
I might have a quick glance and go, cool, I got the idea, but then I'll ask you for the nitty-gritty details later of like, how many DIs do you need, or, you know, stage left, stage right for the keys, all that sort of shit. But like, if you don't send it, then I'm weirdly a little bit like, oh, well, you didn't send me tech specs, even though I'm not going to read them.
Yeah, it's
but
like,
you didn't send me tech specs.
Yeah,
like,
it's just a...
For me, you can't win.
No.
Is what I'm saying.
No, but sometimes like I've had one and it's the one I've mentioned to you before.
Yeah.
And one of the nicer things that was said to me that day, which is putting the bar pretty low, was that when I said, oh, I have sent through the stage plot, and they're like, well, I haven't fucking read that. And I'm just like...
Whereas I'm like, well, can you just tell me what you're doing anyway?
Yeah. So I have it in there, but I have so many other things in there.
Yeah.
Run me through it again.
Well, that's...
Rather than,
I think that's
I'm not going
actually...
to read that, idiot. I'm just like,
yeah,
how has this become my fault?
Yeah, and like, to be honest, when I hear of things like that, it makes me think like, oh, maybe I should go to the effort to read it, because it probably makes me look way more professional if I go, hey, I'm so ready for everything that you've got on stage for your 7-piece string jazz band. I don't know, whatever you're doing.
Watching the cogs turn. 7-piece.
Think of what musicians do.
Yeah. With your music songs.
Yeah. So it makes me feel like I should probably read them to be more professional. But in the same regard, like, I am so bad at retaining information. I don't even remember everyone's names. I don't remember, like, once you've done your sound check, the names and faces leave my brain, you know, like, and it's just something I'm not good at. I'm just not good at memorizing things. So like, even if I did try and read like some specs, I wouldn't particularly retain the information that well. So I could read it and go and analyze it and go, okay, cool, it's just a 4-piece rock band with some tracks or whatever. By the time I meet you, I go, cool, can you just tell me what you need? Like,
yeah, I get that. There's definitely that balance as well. And I think that's...
But it also does depend on the band too. Like, if you know that they're a band that may not be cool with you being so relaxed like that,
sure,
you know, then you go, okay, I'm just going to quickly look at the tech specs. Okay, I know exactly what's going on.
Reading the room is why this relationship that we have on the stage and behind the desk relationship is so unique, because it's a bit of a...
You can tell me how it is.
Exactly. It's just one of those things. Like, but a lot of people don't feel that. In my experience, you are the outlier on that.
Yeah, look, me casa, su casa.
Yeah.
Me venue, you venue.
Exactly. Like... and that's the thing, I suppose. It's just that balance, I guess, of...
Totally.
Meeting that with other people.
I do have the ultimate goal to never be that grumpy soundie who hates their life at their work. And to be honest, there may be people who watch this who go, I've seen you act pretty grumpy, or like you don't want to be there. I might act like that, but at the end of the day, if I didn't want to be there, I wouldn't be.
Yeah,
like, absolutely. I still genuinely love it so much. Sometimes it's fucking hard to be there when you've worked a 9-hour day and then you go and work at a venue and do that for another 8 hours and then you have an hour drive home.
Exactly,
like...
but it's like, I have a life. I have bad days. I have jarring relation. Like you're having quick relationships. If I go to work, I know who's going to be in the office tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's not like who's in the office tomorrow. It's not a gamble. I think
even if I've had a shit day, I try my best not to ever act like that grumpy asshole soundie who hates on everybody. You know, sometimes it does depend on the band that you get though.
Very true.
If you get a band that comes through who are genuinely so lovely and high energy and just like fuck yeah music,
it just sort of
it pumps you up.
Absolutely.
And you're like, oh, this is sick, we're gonna have a great time.
Where did all this energy come
this.
from? Absolutely.
Exactly. But if they're assholes and abrasive and aggressive, then I'm a little bit like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go in my shell a little bit and continue to, you know, not want to be.
Yeah. I love that. So what's on for this year that you can sort of discuss?
So
for you, or for you then?
Okay, well, I can't. I'll be pretty like, I'll be pretty nondescript with some things because I don't know what I can actually like announce or whatever.
Yep.
But got some decent sized tours coming up, both nationally and internationally with
people
with people.
Awesome. Yep.
Plural, that is. Which
awesome.
is quite fun.
That's
and
super
exciting.
exciting.
So multiple bands.
Nice to be getting back on a plane going overseas as well, which would be
absolutely. Cool. Like it's so stupid. I haven't been overseas for so long that I'm so excited to sit on a plane for longer than 6 hours. I don't know. Once I'm there, I'm not going to love it. I'm going to be like, I hate this.
I did that on the way to the States, and then after
I'm like, 12-hour flight, cool.
That was wore off quick. Once we got through customs, I was like, I'm bored now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Once my ass is on that seat, I'm like, get me off this plane.
Yeah, literally.
But, I am excited for
That's
that.
Cool.
So that'll be later in the year. I think this is honestly the first year that I'm not doing any festivals.
Okay,
so normally in the past, like, I want to say 6 years, I've, done a lot of different festivals, working, that is, not attended, as a punter. So working festivals, and between them being cancelled and me just not working them anymore, it's, so I kind of put that to rest. Yeah. So for once I'm not doing that, which is a bit different. It feels weird. I used to gauge where I was in the year with what festival I was doing or what festival I had coming up.
For sure.
Whereas this year's not like that at all. And even the last probably 2 years hasn't been like that.
Of course, yep.
So just focusing on my work at the university, doing studio tech, theatre tech, fun stuff like that. Just being at Soul Bar and, got a few big tours coming up, which I'm very excited
That is exciting. No, that's super sick.
Excited.
That's awesome that stuff's moving on and that you're going away and going places. That's super sick.
So excited to be in different venues and working with different bands as well, bands that I don't know that well. So I'll be on my best behaviour, I'm sure, for the first show, and then I'll be like, okay, I can relax. You know who I am. Cool, let's do this.
The skeletons are well out of the closet now.
Yep. Have the pressure of being like, okay, I need to be really good at my job for this first few shows, and then I'll be like, still obviously good at my job, but like, okay, let's have fun with this now. So
I love it. Well, thank you for inviting me to here. Thank you for being Buttons Lady and doing this for me. It was very nice to catch up with you and finally do this. Thank you
so much. Sorry that I've delayed a lot lately, to be honest. I have just been so busy and having car troubles and, all of
the life things that
I've had on. So I'm actually glad we could finally
do it. Yes.
Do this.
No, very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, guys, that is another episode of the Ask Muso podcast. Paige is the bee's knees. She'll soon be your favourite soundie in a 5K radius. And you know where to find all these episodes. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the business. And until next time, I'll see you later.